5432. Hello everybody, I'm Callum Brown for 74XX, and I'm joined by Raph once again. Hi Raph, thanks for joining us.
Hello, hello.
So we're going to take a look at a few more DOS games on MiSTer FPGA. MiSTer FPGA is a software project that runs on a small development board that you can get for a fairly cheap price and allows you to load different console cores and computer cores on it, play all sorts of games, and one of my favorite is this 486 kind of thing that lets you run a 486 computer, 90 megahertz. Lately it's gotten some great speed up options with L1 and L2 cache, which has enabled a lot of games. So one of the cool things is that you can run external Midi. So I have a couple Midi modules here. We'll come across those a little bit later. And you can also run a great project called MT-32 Pi, which is a emulator that runs on a Raspberry Pi that emulates a Roland MT-32. We're getting kind of convoluted here, but the Roland MT-32 was a sound module Roland made in the late 80s, and it was the first way you could have really good sound from your computer games and from actual music, music-related applications as well. So we're going to get started taking a look at this. I have never seen this game before. I don't know if you've ever heard of this one before. It's called The Simpsons House of Weirdness.
Yeah, no, never heard of this one.
So, right now what we're listening to is the Sound Blaster music. So this is your FM synthesis kind of thing. So we'll take a listen to the intro for a second here. So this is kind of a combination game where it's kind of a sandbox and an adventure game too. So from
not bad.
From the intro here, so I can go down. I have to calibrate my joystick, and I can actually go down here and hit this yellow Walkman. That must be a Sony Walkman, and I can go through some different songs here. So let's listen to Bart's Room. So it's just kind of like an abbreviated Simpsons theme song. The other one that's kind of interesting, I think, is the Itchy and Scratchy theme song.
Is his voice synthesized?
No, his voice is a sample. So I think this is a particularly terrible rendition of the Itchy and Scratchy song. So the bonus is, with a lot of these old games, you often had to make a choice between Sound Blaster or synthesizer or both. So this game only supports one or the other. So the bonus with selecting Sound Blaster is that you do get the digital samples, so you get the okie dokie from Bart, and that's probably synthesized. That sounds like a snare to me. Let's see what else we can do before we change the song. What else can we get here that might be familiar?
And this is all FM, as far as I understand.
Yeah, so this is an OPL chip. Kind of a neat track. Obviously not from the show. You can actually, in MiSTer, you can go into the menu here and you can go in and change the OPL from OPL2 to OPL3. I don't know if we'll hear much of a difference here. I didn't hear anything different with these instruments. Oh, that was different. All right, so let's go back out. And before I go to the MT-32, I just discovered something interesting just before we started, which was that it seems like... So here's our selection screen here. So we've got no music, internal PC speaker with no digital effects, Tandy sound, ad-lib card, Sound Blaster minimal. I guess that's maybe less stress on the CPU, I guess. MT-32 and IBM Advanced. I don't know what IBM Advanced is. Have you ever heard of that card?
No, it must have been something proprietary.
So I tried this just before we started. I tried internal PC speaker, and you have to listen to this because maybe this is something that people who play with DOS know more. When I think of PC speaker, I think it's just a square wave and a piezo buzzer. But this seems to have like the full theme. by Danny Elfman, of course. So have a listen to this. Oh, I went by it there. Let's go down here. Oops. Do my thing every time, I think. I'll go over here. It's actually hard to get lined up. It's very specific.
Yeah, it's like
what's going on?
Move back a bit. Yeah.
I thought something was wrong with it when I first started playing this because I couldn't quite bring it up.
It's
Come
right,
on.
Oh. Yeah, right. No, you got to move back. Yeah.
Come on, Bart.
Right there. Oh, no.
I am hitting the button. It's not picking it up. Let's try again here. I'm gonna not interrupt this sequence so we can at least hear the intro music. I think it comes in by itself after the Konami sound.
Yeah.
There. So I'm pretty sure this music is like glitched into the to the PC speaker. If anyone who's watching has ever heard of this like advanced internal PC speaker noise, let me know.
Yeah, very distorted.
Yeah, it's really not good, but it's there. So let's see if I can get in. I think it's actually overtaken my keyboard here. Oops. Okay, let's try one more time, see if I can get into the jukebox here.
Yeah, I find it's like a little gap between him and the phone. Right there.
Yeah, it's not doing anything. If I wonder if it's
mine it.
Maybe it's disabled in this version. Okay, so anyway, you know, that was just the interesting thing I noticed. I've never seen a PC speaker make noise like that. So let's get to the good stuff. Let's get into MT-32. So, while I make sure this is configured, maybe, Raph, you can tell us a little bit about the specifications. Of MT-32.
The MT-32?
Yeah, as best you can remember.
As best as I can remember. Well, yeah, it was, I think it was released late 80s. Basically, what it was, for those who really don't know what it is, it was a fancy way to get really good, high-quality sounds from your computer. But the kicker was that people had to, or programmers had to program the sounds and compose for it. There was some adoption, but basically it's a hardware synthesizer for your computer, external, so you can get sounds.
Oh,
and,
sorry.
How is it? 15 voices?
Didn't seem to save that. I think the let's try that again. I believe the oh, there we go. So you can see on my little screen down here. This is actually built into my MiSTer hardware. This is a screen supported by MT-32 Pi, and it's the bigger 2.4-inch OLED. I don't know why not everybody is using this, but the MT-32 supports messages. So you can see there it's got a copyright symbol, and we know it's going to work now at least. So really, what you have to remember is that this game like came on a single floppy disk. So the amazing thing about the music we're hearing is that this isn't a floppy disk. This isn't like this isn't a CD. This isn't a bunch of CD audio. Because it was, synthesized, they could store a lot of music in very small files, essentially MIDI files, MIDI files, and let the outboard gear do the work. I was hoping they would have programmed a little more of the intro animation in, but they didn't. So Okay, let's go take a
So
look.
it's a far cry going from PC sounds, which is just bleeps and bloops, to something like this. And even back then, it was, as far as I understand, it's pretty hard to get. I mean, like, most people did not end up getting this. It's kind of rare now to get an original.
So that's very interesting because so many games supported it. Like, until the first few years in the 90s when they started to switch to General MIDI, which we'll talk about later. So this is kind of neat. Like, you can see here, if you look on the screen, you'll see the word memory. So when that word memory comes up, that means it's a custom program sound. So it isn't even just using the instruments that are available on the MT-32. The programmer has taken the time to come up with a sound and synthesized it inside, which you couldn't do on General MIDI. So it's more advanced. They went back a step when they went to General MIDI, I guess. So let's listen to the Itchy and Scratchy theme song. So it does sound more like the show. I think the composition is a bit off.
Yeah.
So very short. What else can I get here? The Space Mutant song I thought was pretty cool that we heard before. Obviously nothing you'd ever hear on the show, but I don't know, cool tune.
Drums sound good.
Yeah.
So, of course, I mean, you don't need an MT-32 or any external sound card to play the game. It was just more, to give you that extra experience of what the developers envision, or the sound designers at least envision.
I found the Itchy and Scratchy room in the game, it looks like. Oh, here we go. Okay, we got a...
Yeah.
Not that I'm any good at this, but we've got an actual arcade-style game here. Not that I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to just not get hit.
That's really well done. It really does, at times, look like it's right from the show.
I'm gonna try one more time. Yeah, this game, I looked really quickly. It actually was reviewed rather positively, which was kind of funny for something that, was relatively unknown game. I don't think anyone has ever... I've never heard this one mentioned before.
No.
I think I'm supposed to just try and get my way through here. Oh, I made it a bit further. Move my microphone out a bit. See what else I can do here. Okay, this is the Space Mutant level. Different weapon? That actually looks a lot like an alien from Futurama.
Yeah.
Which would make sense, obviously.
So is your health the uncool cool?
Yeah, so I think I'm down to one hit left. Oh, so... I'm supposed to... Okay, this is not giving me a lot of...
wow.
It's not giving me a lot of chance to really do much here. I made it to the top 10. Put in my initials there.
That sounds good. That's the theme.
Yeah. Let's listen. We'll give the theme a moment here before we move on. So I was recently trying to buy an actual MT-32, looking on Yahoo Auctions Japan, because they were more popular there and are cheaper there. So you can get one kind of whenever you want for a bid price somewhere between, I don't know, 240 and 280 Canadian. So that's like, what, like 180 US?
Half the price?
Yeah, so very cheap compared to, I would say here, if you're just going on eBay in North America, expect to pay, I don't know, 400 Canadian, which is like 340 right now US. So, very expensive. And honestly, the emulation options, MUNT, which works on a computer anyway, you don't actually have to run it on a Raspberry Pi, is very considered to be a very good emulator. So I think most people who are playing around with DOS games these days are often using Windows Computer with DOSBox, and they're outputting the MIDI from DOSBox into MUNT. Heard that music already. What else haven't we heard on this one? Getting some occasional unexpected MIDI statuses on the MT-32. I'm wondering if it has to do with the ROM that I'm using. I'm not sure. I actually can't remember which one I picked.
I was getting the same thing on mine as well. Also note, this also synthesizes the events in the game. It's not just the music, right?
Yeah, so this... We noticed when we were in Sound Blaster mode that we had digital samples, whatever Bart said. But yeah, when we're here, any other kind of music or any sound effects that you're gonna hear are being made on the MT-32.
Which is actually, I'm gonna say, from what I've seen so far, is kind of semi-rare. Usually they either reserve the MT-32 or an external one just for music, and then Sound Blaster or ad-lib for the events that happen is usually what I find. But it kind of just adds a little. Well, first off, it makes it easier when you're playing, so you don't only have to set up one thing. But
yeah,
I don't know, it makes it a little bit special. It kind of shows that the developers or the designers actually thought about it.
Okay, what can I do here? What am I supposed to do here?
I think you're supposed to, yeah, just keep going. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, this is...
Oh, wow.
This is not giving me a lot of chances to really... I don't know how much skill there is in this game. I mean, I'm sure I could get better, but this is just... This reminds me of... so there's a series of games called Pang. And I'm out of bullets, so I can't even shoot anything. Where you shoot, balls that are bouncing around and they get smaller. Oh, I thought that would have been ammo. Oh, who's this? What was her name? Oh, I can't remember her name anymore. From the second episode.
Yeah, she was the babysitter.
From Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers Babysitting.
Yes,
what was her name? That's funny, I can't remember what her name was. But I don't have any weapon, I can't do anything here. So I think
yeah, I remember from her, she had like this very fluid animation.
Yes, I do remember it, yeah. Yeah. I keep thinking her name is Lucille. I keep thinking Lucille.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's her name or if she said that was her name.
She was voiced by the actress from Laverne and Shirley, I think. What was her name?
Oh, look at that. Reflection. High quality. That's that's DOS ray tracing right there.
DOS ray tracing.
I can get rid of this B. There we go. Secret of the Attic. So, getting the impression that like each screen has something going on. Okay, I see something. I don't know if there's something in the couch there. It's supposed to be funny. Can I jump over there? No, I can't jump over there. Oh, I can shoot on a big gaggle though. Maybe I can shoot up and get this.
It's funny looking at the names of the patches. So one's called Bees, and then when Bart gets hit, it's called the Knit Bart.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Hit Bart.
Or Hit Bart.
Oh yeah.
Hit Bart. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it come up once in a while. So I can get up on that. Getting the impression I'm supposed to get over to the moose head here.
Yeah, somehow. There you go.
No.
Oh.
But what's that? I don't know what that is over there. Maybe a situation where I should have read the manual. They can't quite jump high enough to get on top of that.
The spring on the couch. Can't go past that.
No.
No.
I'm out of ammo again. I'm surprised they didn't put the picture in here of Ringo Starr that Marge painted.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let's see if
Actually,
I can...
probably. Well, I wonder when this game came out. I didn't see the year. But...
It said copyright 1990, 1991, so that would be like season 2, season 3. I think, right?
Yeah.
I always forget. Is first season 89 is what I always have in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I died. Okay, let's move on to another game. So that was pretty cool. I think that showed pretty clearly, you know, a big difference between the Sound Blaster capabilities and the MT-32. So I think we'll come across one. Actually, it's interesting. I'm pretty sure the next one we're gonna try, which is Gods. I'm pretty sure this game also only has music if you're in MT-32 mode in the game, but we'll find out. So where is the setup program? It's probably called install. Usually called install. Here we go. So let's start with internal speaker, only because the last game cheated and had really good internal speaker noises, which didn't make sense. So let's take a listen. Take a listen to this. There. This is what internal PC speakers should sound like.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Where you actually have to like modulate the notes together to get the illusion of chords.
Yep.
Let's see if we have any sound in the game once we start here.
Where delay is made by just playing the note really fast right after it.
Yep. Okay, so we have very familiar sounding effects to me. I wonder if there was a library people used back in the day, but this is what I picture when I think of my parents' business laptop when I used to try and play games on that. All right, so let's.
Yeah, this was like summer camp for me back in like '96 or something.
Oh yeah.
They had a computer there, and they're like, okay, just go ahead and play some games.
Oops. VGA. Okay, let's move up to. We're gonna go to Sound Blaster. So, AdLib is also OPL synthesizer. I hope I'm getting this right. AdLib, I think, is also the OPL synthesizer without the digital sample capability, so you wouldn't get digital sound effects. So, Sound Blaster came out, which was 100% AdLib compatible, and then added the digital playback as well, so you could have sound effects. So, we'll jump up to Sound Blaster here. Take a listen. So you can hear we have digital samples. We have the speech samples in the background.
Good art.
Yeah, pretty good for DOS. So yeah, just verifying, AdLib used the YM3812, which is also known as OPL2. Let's hear what the first... I feel like when I played this earlier today, it didn't have any music. Oh no, it does. Okay, good. Oh, no, it doesn't have any music. So for some reason, they decided not to compose music for Sound Blaster, which is very strange. I guess maybe they decided to put all the all the power into the how do we get off here? Come on. I can't. There we go. All the power into the sound effects. Okay, so I mean, you know, that sound right there, that sounds like a Sega Genesis to me. Like that sounds like Sonic Spinball. This game came out on a few different systems. I know it came out on the Super Nintendo as well. I can't remember if it came out on the Genesis or not.
Oh.
All right, let's go move it all the way up to MT-32.
Or Roland. I don't think it specifically says MT-32, but
Yeah, so that's it's an interesting thing that so LAPC1 was the integrated unit. So that was a card you could buy. So if you didn't want to have what you actually needed was the computer. You needed an MPU 401, which like talked between the computer and the MIDI device, and then you needed the MIDI device. So there was a lot of stuff. So they came up with the LAPC I. It's not actually a 1. Apparently it's an I, and it's often wrong on various things. Which was a card, like a big ISA card that you stuck in your computer. So I guess by this point they expected people, if they had anything, they would have this card because it would be an option you could buy when you buy a new computer.
I've sometimes run into some games where I've selected that, but it's not compatible with the MT-32. Like
It should
specifically
be.
wants that card.
The other one that is similar that you would come across is the SCC one, which was an integrated sound canvas. So you can see here it's taking the time to initialize the Roland card, so I think it's sending its custom instruments over. There you go. I have noticed that I've personally felt that this sounds a bit out of time. It sounds a little bit to me like the messages are getting caught up just a tiny bit. I don't know if that's the fault of anything in particular, or I'm just hearing things.
That sounds good. You hear a little bit of portamento on the voices.
Yep.
That's good.
Exactly. Okay. So this, again, they are using the. Let's get make sure I can.
Yeah, so this has music. Yeah.
So it's got music in it, and you can see on every once in a while you'll see on the screen throw and explosion. Like you can see that they've named them. There's footsteps.
Yeah, it's got some house music.
Yeah. This is the ladder climbing sound. I don't know what they were doing with that. Nice. So I think I have to hit this switch up here. There we go. Cool.
Maybe it's supposed to simulate your armor moving around or something when you climb the ladder.
Perhaps. Ooh. We got some Castlevania style enemies coming in. It's a bit hard to control because I think it's only one button. Yeah, you have to like press up and left. And then the action button to actually execute the jump. Oh, I exploded into skulls. So this is pretty good. I think it's a pretty cool game.
Definitely. Looks great too.
Yeah, really nice scrolling for a DOS game of this age. I find this like general problem in DOS platformer games. It's always a situation where the control is hard to execute. Like it's hard to actually just do what you want to do. So I see that I have slots at the bottom too for different abilities. So I press down, I can switch between them. There you go, so I got a key. But how do I... There we go, picked it up. I don't know if I can get that or not. So what are your feelings on how difficult or easy it is to set up DOS on a MiSTer?
Well, it was I'll say probably out of 10, it's probably around 7.
On like on ease or on difficulty?
On difficulty.
Okay.
Just because there's a lot of things you kind of have to be comfortable with DOS that I've learned really quick. Like there's a lot of editing of the configuring, the config files and things like that. But there's some great walkthrough steps. It doesn't hold your hand. You kind of have to, navigate through it. But I'd say probably within a couple hours of like trial and error, and it's more of like determining what you want to do with it. If you want to add a mouse, you have to do this. If you want to add an extra drive, you have to follow this. Certain things.
And yeah, and I mean, so you probably say that you have quite a bit of experience with DOS.
Well, I used to back in the 90s, and then I kind of forgot about it, but this kind of all of a sudden just kind of jogged my memory. Just like even simple commands, I was saying earlier today, like you take it for granted moving a file in Windows environment, where if you want to delete something or copy something, you have to type out the command completely and put what you want to delete or where you want to move it from to where, and put the full path, essentially.
Yeah, I'm finding things now that I wish I knew when I was younger, like the xcopy command, for example.
Yes.
Copy many things at once.
Or delete tree, things like that.
Yep. So there are some packs floating around that are pre-compiled virtual hard drives with many of the the top games as selected by community members. I haven't used one of those yet, mostly because I didn't have an SD card big enough at the time when I was kind of setting things up. But that could be a good shortcut for anybody who's getting interested but doesn't want to like do everything right from the start.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a key over here. It's hidden in the wall.
But it definitely makes you see where Windows came out. Like where the necessity for Windows came from. People were just like, I want to stop typing out what I want to do. I want to, drag and drop. And,
yeah.
With the GUI.
Okay, I'll give this another shot, and then we can move on to some other things. So we did have a bit of a list of games we wanted to look at, but we found out that a lot of them had issues that wouldn't work for us necessarily in MiSTer. So compatibility is improving. It's just not 100% yet. Yeah. I mean, I think we got into it just kind of at the right time, because I think prior to the L1 and L2 caches being implemented, I think there was a lot of restriction of what could work.
But you know what? To be honest, even with back in the day, with 486 or 386, you had issues, pop up that you'd have to fix as well, or or you couldn't have fix.
Yeah. I think I'm getting a scrolling problem in this game crop up just now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mine's doing the same thing as well.
Oh, really? So I don't know if that's the fault of the game, or I have found some other games not working correctly in MiSTer that have hardware scrolling like this, so that could be the problem. So I guess we'll move on anyway.
Yeah.
That's a cool game. Would have loved to have that as a kid. As I mentioned on my other streams with Eric, that I wasn't really I wanted to be big into PC gaming when I was young, but I just didn't have the resources. So I missed so much of this. Maybe that's why I'm interested in this stuff now. I want to show you really quickly before we go to the next game some idea of like what you would see on a box. So this is a game Raph and I have been like checking out and playing. It's really cool. It's called Rise of the Dragon, and I'm just gonna I'll use the my little camera down here. If we can we get in there close enough? That's pretty small. Let's get this screen bigger for a moment and turn it around.
Yep.
So this is kind of what you would see on a box. Ooh, getting bad. So you can see here 640K RAM, 8 megahertz recommended, IBM Tandy, MS-DOS, compatibles, supports VGA, EGA, and Tandy, 16 colors. And so you see down here the support here for music. So we've got Roland MT-32, LAPC I again, AdLib, and Sound Blaster music synthesizers. So, you'd have like a big sticker on the corner of each box that would tell you exactly what you needed. And this was like standard for a while, like having this sticker right on the corner. Obviously, all the Sierra games had it, but a lot of other games did too. So we're going to talk about that Rise of the Dragon game another day. I'm going to do a... I've added a bunch of games to my DOS collection, so I have a video where I'm going through all the contents and checking it out, and we're going to do that one first. So now we're going to take a look at... Let's do a comparison between MT-32 and a general MIDI module. So I have an SC55. If I take this guy here, and we just take a look... Am I upside down again?
Yes. Mark II. Yep.
Yeah, so that's my Roland Sound Canvas SC55 Mark II, which is a small revision of the Mark I that Raph has. I also have a D70, which is the last one they made, and I've been developing a little machine to actually use that better. It's got all sorts of compatibility modes built in, but they are very hard to access, so I'm working on that. So today we're gonna listen to some things on the Sound Canvas. So this is a game called Darker, and let's take a look and see what's going on here. This is actually like a flight simulator. Oh, I have to go back to the CD drive to do this. I figured this out earlier.
Yeah, surprisingly, it plays really well. Unfortunately, there's no music during the flight. But
yes, we're not going to spend any time playing this for that reason. We'll start with Sound Blaster again, as we do. And I don't know if... it seemed like I had to install this every time I changed the synthesizer, so luckily, luckily it happens very, very quickly. So let's call it Darker. So yeah, the actual composition is pretty cool in this game. So let's take a minute to listen to the... maybe I'll look up some information on it while we're... So there, you're talking about like a sound with a delay. Those are just the notes programmed in. There's no delay effect. So this is a game by Psygnosis, which everybody knows. They did so many things, like Lemmings. This is the one I always think about. That one of their big titles. They did a lot of things though.
Very chiptune for the drums.
This that delay line, it reminds me of Donkey Kong Country. This part reminds me of Aquatic Ambience.
Yep.
Or no. Oh, what's the other one called? Stickerbush Symphony? The one where you're in the barrels and you're being shot around. Stickerbush Symphony, I think it's called. Alright, so I think we've looped. So I think if I try and start a new game, I think we find that there's no more music. Oh, there is this.
Maybe
Let's
tell
listen
just
to
a little
this.
bit. Yeah. There's a few more title screens. I wonder if it changes music.
Very interesting. Yeah, there's a little track here we can listen to for a minute.
You know, it's passable.
Yeah, this is a pretty
like
good track. Yeah.
You'd enjoy it.
Oh, video clip.
Yeah.
That's like 8 frames.
Oh, you think that was a programmer?
I do.
Probably was.
Yeah, and then once you get into the game,
Yeah.
I didn't play much of it, but it looks good. Like
So
the
if you
frame rate's nice. Crash into a sea of particle effects. Okay, do you want to give me a walkthrough here?
Yeah, so just press enter.
Yeah.
You use your mouse to kind of glide it a bit.
Okay, yeah. I actually was trying to use the keyboard before, so that was my issue.
Enter is boost.
Yeah.
And fire, press number 1. Press number 1, and now you can left click and fire.
Ah, cool. So yeah, this is very good.
Yeah, there's a couple bogeys. They're like little red dots on the radar.
Yeah,
which is almost impossible. They're very hard to shoot down.
Okay, I'll try and find one here. I see one there. I'm not a flight simulator guy, so the inverted axis is really I can't do it.
Oh.
You're pretty big into flight sim, right?
Yeah.
I crash. I like the death animation though of the thing there.
But for 3D, it's pretty good. Or for DOS on 3D.
Yes. You know what I can do is I can rather than actually I'll just do it again. It's fast. All right, so let's move up to now. We both agreed that General Midi sounded the best in this case, right? I think so. So we're gonna jump over General Midi, go to the Roland, and the Roland is not. I mean, the Roland is older, so you know. I guess if you're expecting a progression, you would expect General Midi to be slightly better. So let's do that here. Darker. So I'm gonna get my hand on the volume here because I think it comes. I just want to make sure I didn't turn it off. It's still on. Okay. Definitely custom instruments. So, I mean, what I would say is that this is an upgrade in the instrument quality, but not an upgrade in the composition.
pretty much the same.
I think if I was... I'd have a hard time choosing between this and Sound Blaster if these were my two options.
Where I think the MT-32 shines is the pads in the background.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get that extra ambulance in the background that you really don't get on Sound Blaster.
It is like a slightly different composition because the Sound Blaster had like notes that were like falling down in pitch continuously, whereas this one is doing like a portamento between them. They're really playing with those bends though, which is nice. Now, the MT-32 did have built-in chorus and reverb. General Midi also has delay. I'm not sure if the MT-32 has delay. I know that General Midi does because I had the General Midi reset disabled on my SC55, and I couldn't figure out why it was adding delay to all the instruments.
Does it have chorus?
Pretty sure the MT-32 has chorus and reverb available to it. Okay. And then we're into the...
Good orchestra hit.
Yeah. Then we're into the game. Okay, so let's go back.
Oh, hit tab. If you hit tab, hold tab.
Oh,
there
that's cool.
just
I got a...
Yeah.
That's cool. You can do your...
Looks like the
Star Fox. Yeah. Yeah, this is a cool game. But I exploded into particle effects again. Okay, one more install. So this time we're going to General Midi. As I mentioned, I have an actual SE55. So on my MiSTer system, I have this built-in screen for the MT-32 I mentioned. But it also supports USB MIDI. So it supports, I'm not sure what the class is called, but I have the Roland UM1, which is the one that most people would recommend. It's available for not too much money. I do also have one from Amazon that works, but most people tend to get one from Amazon that doesn't work.
Yeah, the gold standard's the M1 Mark II. It has no problem with SysX messages or anything like that.
Yeah. I don't know if mine is a Mark II or not. I don't see a Mark II. Oh, it is. There. UM1 MK2. Yep. Okay. So, I wish I could... Maybe I'll just... I can move the sound canvas so that I can get the... No, I better not try. I was going to get the camera on it, but I'll probably mess things up. So, let's just get the game going. So I need to first make sure I turn off MT-32 Pi, which then redirects the MIDI signals over USB. And
do you have to enable?
You don't have to enable it. As long as it's already was enabled before, you just have to do that. So it should go... Oops, I have to go back to C drive. It's a little loud. So I don't know if the bass will come through on YouTube, but might be peaking a bit.
Yeah, so much better.
Yeah, this is almost certainly composed probably on the SE55. I'm not sure if there's any information to support that, but The SC-55 was a favorite of composers of the era, specifically. Interesting that it says music by PC Music. Like, I don't know, is that a company name or what? Yeah, I like this. This is a great track.
Those are voices, like a voice patch, isn't it?
If I can actually look here. Slow strings, synth strings, choir ahs.
Yeah.
And voice ooze.
Yes.
And synvox. So they're using all three types of choir voices on this one.
You think we have time to put it into MT-32 mode? See what it sounds like?
Let me see here. What do I do to do that?
You power off and hit instrument left, and then as you hold the instrument left, then power on.
Okay, I'll do that. Yes, let's do it. Initializing.
It might have to initialize. Yeah.
Oh, hold on, I'm getting a dropout on my signal. Seem to have a problem with my mixer.
That's better.
Okay, that's embarrassing. I think it's actually some really crappy phono adapters I have. It happened once earlier, but I didn't think it would happen again.
But yeah, so this is the MT-32 compatibility mode, right?
Yeah, which you wouldn't expect to sound very good because the instrument patch set for the MT-32 is just different from general MIDI. So like what you find at patch 10 is not the same between MT-32 and general MIDI. So yeah, if you select this, so this would actually happen all the time. If you were to, doesn't sound that bad actually.
Yeah.
I mean, some things will simply line up because there are several instruments that are simply in the same position. Like pianos are in the same position. I think strings are in the same position, so they'll sound fine. But yeah, that would happen if you. In fact, there's a lot of games that claim MT-32 compatibility when in reality they just took the general MIDI composition, put it in the Roland driver. So it just sends the wrong instruments. They say, well, you know, it's compatible, it works, it's just wrong instruments. And usually also the wrong pitch bend. I think there's a difference where general MIDI expects a whole tone pitch bend either way if you're using the pitch bend controller, whereas MT-32 expects an octave. So that's a big difference. Okay, let's move on to something else, kind of an interesting one that we found. So I don't know anything about this game. We couldn't even get it started, either of us. It's Clive Barker's, what's it called?
Oh.
the Night Breed.
Oh yeah.
CD Night. Yeah, I mean, I had a quick look at this, and it was interesting because I looked at the manual, and there's no copy protection page in the manual. So I went off the presumption that the copy protection has been cracked on this version, but it still asks you for it because it allows you to start the game regardless, but you can't get very far. So my guess is that maybe it is actually coming up against copy protection. But we're only interested in the intro anyway, so that's fine.
Right.
Okay, so I need to type in VGA, and we're gonna start with IBM sound. So I'm putting in normal. See, enter the 4-digit code. I don't know. I looked in the manual. It's not there. So.
Just. Oh, you got that. Okay. See, I didn't get that.
Okay, so maybe we have different versions, different cracked versions. So this is what you expect when you hear, internal PC speaker. This is just the beeper, the piezo buzzer in tells you your computer turns on.
It's like Elvis in the background.
Mm-hmm. This was apparently one of a 3-part series. So I don't think it ever gets beyond this kind of arpeggio kind of thing. So yeah, you can get here. You can control the little arrow here and click it. And there's this little intro here, which I think is running too fast or something because this doesn't stay up very long on the screen. I think it's expecting a slower computer. But then you get here, and yeah, I can't do anything here. I mean, I can move the cursor around. The fire button is supposed to be... Oh,
that's funny. We downloaded we downloaded totally different games.
Yeah, you did? You got the action game, I bet.
Yes.
Yeah, you got the action game. So, anyway, this is the interactive movie. I guess they both seem to have the same soundtrack. I'm going to reset because I think my keyboard has done something strange.
And the same problem.
Yeah, because I did actually check to make sure. I looked on YouTube to see if I could figure out how to get into the game, and all I really found was that it was the same music. So, I have to make sure MT-32 Pi is turned back on. VGA and Roland. Okay, it's gonna sound better. What's going on here? That did not work. Let's try and exit out of this here.
Yeah, and mine I couldn't exit whatsoever. I had to reboot. Okay.
Oh. I think it didn't get the instruments right away.
Still cutting out a bit.
Okay, let's reset again, see if I can get back into it again. Oops. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, I see. I may have had my numlock turned on. Maybe that's why it won't go. I'm using I have like one of those small keyboards built in. And that's what I think it's doing here. So, night. VGA Roland. See if it gets it right this time. I'm going to give this a full-on reset because this should sound a lot better. So let's go right back to the beginning. Turn off my entire MiSTer.
October 1987. When you're MT-32.
Yeah. So that's only, what, 3 months younger than me? Doing it wrong. Yeah, so I'm supposed to do Night, VGA, and Roland. There we go.
Yep.
So you may have had an incomplete sysx in there or something like that. Often happens.
No, it uses the soundtrack patch. Very nice. Yeah.
Yep. This is likely all default patches.
Yeah.
I think it is. So what we could try doing for fun is if I turn on my D70. Sorry, reaching over the microphone here. We could possibly try running it through my MT-32 compatibility program on the D70 and see what it sounds like on a newer synthesizer. Okay, so I think we've heard enough of this intro. So let's reset again. All right, so we'll try one more thing on the stream for fun here, which is that we're going to turn off the MT-32 Pi. So again, I have an interesting thing. Actually, I can probably move this up. I bet this will work here. So I can move this little teeny screen around like so. Will that work? I can go down and take a look at my MiSTer. So this should, if I can get this lined up and bigger. If I...
Is that the buddy?
Yeah. So this is like this is something I have made to assist in my usage of the D70. So I'll get this sorted out in a second here. Oh no.
World shifted.
Yeah. All right, let's get this out here so we can look at it. There we go.
Yeah. So
I can adjust the focus in a moment here.
Yeah.
So as I was mentioning, the D70 is the last sound canvas that they made, and basically it has compatibility modes built in for the older synthesizers. So let's see if I can find a brightness here and a focus.
Oh,
That will let me see it.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. There we go. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and you made that whole interface, right?
Yeah, I made this whole thing. So it actually shows the MT-32 messages along the top. So that MIDI link, MiSTer MIDI link BB thing there. That's what that is. So what I can actually do is I can set it. So you see there's three. We got a GM mode, a GS mode, and an MT-32 mode. Then along the bottom is the SC55, 88, 88 Pro, and the SC8820. So those are the different compatibility modes. So if I switch this into MT-32 mode, then what it will do is it will assume that incoming codes, program changes are aimed at the MT-32, and it will move them over to their equivalent, or what I've decided is equivalent, instruments in general MIDI. So a lot of them won't line up because a lot of them don't exist on one or the other. And I'm going to press that CM64 button again because I don't want... It actually does have a mode that will sound like an MT-32, but I want it to sound like a new synth. So that should be set up. Let's see if it actually does what I want. VGA Roland. Let's see if it finds it here. Oops, I'm in the wrong directory. I'll have to remember which one I plugged it into.
So does the D50? So no, the D50 doesn't have backwards compatibility between all of this. This is why you built this.
The D70 has it,
Or sorry, D70.
but it's all hidden in sysx commands. So the earlier sound canvases let you, so like the 88, which one? One of them had an instrument map. Maybe the 8820 had an instrument map button you could press and switch between these maps, but this is like a cost-reduced version and doesn't have that. So anyway, let's see if it works here. Oh, I think it's working. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of this little unit. It's not done yet. It only accepts program changes via the program change CC, like the control change function in Midi. Not by sysx. So some games change program by sysx, but this one appears to work properly. Yeah, so it's got the right instruments.
That's cool.
There, I think it actually sounds better.
What's the A channel? Is that tempo?
Oh, I just ran out of room, so that's just channels 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I do want to do a video on this MIDI, this D70 buddy thing, because I actually think the D70 is often overlooked as a module that you can use for at least a pretty good quantity of DOS games. I would say maybe the ultimate combo the ultimate combo I think would be a real MT-32, a D70, and my unit. And I think maybe the second most popular, like the next best would be, if you can't get a real MT-32, would be the emulator, which is fine, because I think it's almost identical sounding. And then maybe an SC55, because the SC55 is what a lot of the things were composed on. But there's other stuff too, like there's also, there's Yamaha, there's Korg, all sorts of general MIDI instruments are out there. I actually hooked up my keyboard one day. I have a new Roland VR combo that I use, like it's an organ, piano, and everything. It's got General MIDI 2 built in, and I verified the sounds are the same as in this D70. So, you know, Roland has not updated the GM sound set, at least for this consumer level, from this D70, which actually I'm not sure when it's from. It has USB, which is pretty amazing, and it's the only sound canvas that has optical digital output on it.
They might update that soon. I think they're doing MIDI 2.0. I don't know if they're touching the GM spec.
Yes, that's right. MIDI 2 as a communications standard is being updated, which is, it's amazing that MIDI has lasted this long, since 1986, I believe.
83, sorry.
Okay.
83.
Okay, even older than I thought. Yeah, there's several threads on Vogons where they talk about the D70, and people kind of come in and say, should I get this one? It looks like it's really good. And everyone basically says, don't bother, like, just get an SC55 or an 88 or whatever. I found the D70 quite cheaply on eBay Canada and just bought it thinking I could write a program or something to change the sound maps, and then I realized the best solution would be to have this this thing in. So I can do this. So if I press this button again, it goes back into CM64 mode, which is like the voice expanded version of the MT-32. So this should sound like the MT-32 Pi, and I think it does. So this is the sound map. This is crazy how convoluted this gets. So this is the sound map that is hidden in the SC8820. That's a map of the SC55. And within that SC55 map is the MT-32 compatibility mode that you get when you turn it on with that instrument button. So that's what this is.
Right.
Bass sounds different, I think. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I'd have to record them here and A/B them. So, you know, we talked about this a while ago, which is like, is this good enough? Like, you should just have this as your main unit. But what really found that digging into it, there are not a lot of games that use the default MT-32 sounds. I thought there were. I thought most use the built-in sounds, and just a few use the intelligent mode and actually, use the synthesizer functions, but that's not true. So the one soundtrack people always bring up is Secret of Monkey Island. That's someone on Twitter said Monkey Island is the stairway to heaven of MT-32 demonstration. So you always bring that out, and it's a great composition for sure. The title theme to Secret of Monkey Island is great composition, but it doesn't use any of the special features except for probably reverb or something like that. Doesn't use any programmability, so it's really selling it short, I think when you do that. So
yeah, I got to keep my eye out for a D70.
Yeah, I keep an eye on it. I think it's a nice one to have. Yeah, I mean you already have a 55, so I can change this. I can apply the MT-32 compatibility mode to the SC55, for example. So if I click this, what's going on here? Can I change it? Oh no, it's stuck there. I have to change it out of this mode first, then press this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear the difference in the bass.
Yeah. I think these are all pretty much sounding the same. So, anyway, yeah. That's that. So I'm continuing to work on that, and I'll probably make it program open source and schematics for how you can build one. Maybe I'll sell cases or something. But it uses an Arduino Mega Mini, which is like an Arduino Mega, just in a very small package. All right. So is there anything else we wanted to look at today? Anything else that we had on our list?
I think we got most of it, unless you didn't get. No, and I think you. Yeah, no.
It's funny because
let me just take a look.
Looking at the last things I installed to see if there's anything that worked.
You don't have Dune on there, do you?
I don't have Dune. No. I could look at the humans. I think the humans. Oh, was it this one? What's in the configuration? No, it's nothing real. The Humans is a game that I bought recently, and it's somewhere. There we go. Let's listen to one more. Let's just go right to the MT-32 just to enjoy it. Oh, undo. I screwed that up. Do I wish to change any keys? Yes. Up, down, left, right. Fire icon. There we go. Oops. I do use a joystick. This is interesting. This install program actually makes you check to make sure scrolling is working. So there's this type, or there's that type. And it's interesting. On my screen, it looks a lot worse. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so I'm going to use that one there.
It's like the Game Boy font.
Yes. Okay, we're going to go back to MT-32 Pi, yes. And humans. This isn't like anything amazing, but it's a nice little soundtrack.
Is there no video feed?
There is. It seems that the scaler is not picking it up. Let's give it a minute here.
That sounds great.
So yeah, this is interesting because it is a CD-ROM game. Came on a CD, but it's clearly just the floppy disk content on a CD. Okay, I think this does a resolution change when I start it, so maybe the scaler will pick it up when it changes resolutions.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
there
exactly. All right, so let's go up here. So this is a game that I think is somewhere in between Lemmings and the Lost Vikings. I don't know if you saw us play the Lost Vikings on a stream.
Yeah.
Or no, did we do that one? Maybe we did the Lost Vikings on our last stream because we were looking at music.
No, it was with Eric. I think you did the Lost Vikings.
Okay. So yeah, this is, I guess it must be decompressing something because that's why it's loading. So in this game you have to, you got control of several different guys and you can move them along and you can stack them up. So like I have to bring this guy over here. Press, what do I press? Tab or something? Remember which button I need to press to change this guy to the next guy.
Sorry, so this is MT-32?
This is MT-32, yeah.
So the display, it's full bars for some reason.
Yeah, I think it's actually just, I think it actually, I can see the channels dipping occasionally, so I think it's just actually playing only 4 channels. And maybe it's employing a delay, maybe. So I think I think it's actually just up all the time. Okay, it's the period button. So this is the first level, so nothing amazing. But yeah, you have to move your guys around. So it has that idea of Lemmings because I think that they can have different abilities. So you see at the bottom there's 2 guys. You can kind of see their different things they can do. So I have to walk this guy up. This seems like a very Amiga game to me. I'm guessing it was produced in Europe. So where's the last guy here? There he goes. There, I finished level 1. Yeah, so I'm using an OSSC as a scaler here. So I guess this last thing I'll talk about before we log off. I'm gonna do a video that kind of shows my setup. I mean, we do the streaming. This isn't something that I've been doing it once a week for the past few weeks during COVID, just for something fun to do. I don't think it's gonna become like a huge thing or anything, but I have a pretty complex setup for how all my audio and video is flowing through here, and I think it's interesting for a lot of people to, or if they plan to stream with a MiSTer, I think I've got some information that that could be useful. I see a lot of people talking about why don't you use the analog I/O board, which is an add-on board for the top, which gives you simultaneous analog and HDMI output. Well, the first thing is I'm only using analog monitors here, so I would be using the analog for the computer, and the broadcast monitors I'd be using the HDMI to be captured. But the thing is, I have other consoles here. I haven't brought it up on stream yet, but I have other consoles that all go into this RGB matrix, and then signals get distributed to the broadcast monitor and the PC monitor and back to the VGA or back to the capture. So it actually makes more sense for me to just copy the analog signal that's coming from my MiSTer going into my TVs. It's actually easier to copy that signal, rescale it back up, and then capture that. So I think with the OSSC, the quality I'm getting on the capture is great now. I was having issues with the crappy direct VGA converter capture card that I had from Amazon. But this is a much better solution. Although I am using like a $20 HDMI capture card. I guess they've just become cheap, and I gave you my Elgato, whatever it is. I bought that a while ago.
Which works. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it still works. But it has a very annoying minimum resolution of higher than 640 by 480.
Yes. So then, in the comment about, people who want to get into MiSTer, in order for me to fix that, it took me about half an hour of research on the web. And then, if you're not comfortable messing around with INI files and, settings like that, it can be a little daunting, but it's kind of, you got to do you got to save a good copy somewhere, and if you mess it up, you can just put it back. But I think what was it right before the stream? You overwrote.
So just before we started, I happened to copy over one of the games to my MiSTer, and I was in my root directory when I copied the files, and the game, whatever it was probably that. I think it was the Simpsons game. I think it had a function built in that would allow you to write a boot disk, so it had its own config.sys file that was practically empty on purpose. So I was in my root directory, I copied that directory over, it even asked me if I wanted to overwrite, and I hit yes. I wasn't even thinking, I was just like, oh, that's weird, maybe I already had that directory there. But no, it overwrote the config.sys file. I lost everything that, like all my, CD driver and all that kind of stuff. Luckily, I had realized I had followed the AO46 guide that you can find. You find it very easily if you search kind of MiSTer AO46 setup. You'll find like a 12-part multi-series. The guy has done a great job. Let's see if I can figure out what it's called, because I should credit
I'm gonna look
the
it
guy. Setup guide. So
James McKenzie.
James McKenzie. So James McKenzie has done an amazing job doing a many multi-part explanation of how to set up 486. He starts it off very easily by getting you started and then installing Doom. Then you can go back and you can start adding, some more sound support, CD-ROM support, mouse support, all that kind of stuff. So what I actually had in there was I had used his exact config.sys file, so I just copied that to another file, put it back over FileZilla. Another great thing about MiSTer is that it has built-in FTP support, so you can always just edit things from your computer. You can even edit the main MiSTer INI file just right from FileZilla. You can just edit it, and when you restart your MiSTer, it'll work again. So.
And and all this stuff, for a new person, sounds daunting, but it's not that bad once you get into it. It's just,
Yeah, there's quite a bit of support. There's an official forum now, MiSTerFPGA.org. You should look through, like any hobby like this, you should try and do a lot of research on your own, try and figure things out, and then come to people if you really can't figure it out, or if you've tried a lot of things and come with descriptive problems, and you'll probably get them solved, because it's a great community. It's a great product. Like it's a really well done ecosystem. Mini cores are being written all the time. Arcade cores, especially right now, are being added pretty often. Even some advanced ones. Like we just got a huge amount of Capcom CPS2 games, like all the advanced, like the better Street Fighter 2, like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo and all that, which is amazing to see on this device, which still only costs, I think, $200 US for the base unit. You got to buy a couple things to get it started, but you got up and running pretty quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Do you know if there's been many comparison videos? Because for the people who don't know, basically the whole draw behind FPGA is it's not just a software emulator. It's basically emulating, somebody programs to emulate the chips that are very hard to find, or you can't find anymore. But do you know if anybody's done any like comparisons, especially with your arcade games, how well it performs? Like, is it 1-to-1 in some instances, or?
Yeah, I mean it's something that's got to kind of add up. So the nice thing is when you're talking about um, emulating in hardware, especially an arcade board, the nice thing is that you generally have to have the arcade board. So most of these guys that are doing these arcade cores, somebody will be nice enough to donate their board, and they'll be able to actually see exactly how things are going, like how the board is actually how it's done. And I mean, like, software emulation's been around for a long time. MAME is a completely invaluable um, emulation and arcade repair tool that I use all the time for repairing arcade boards. So a lot of the information is already in MAME. But as far as accuracy, I mean, yeah, you could hook them up. You could do something like hook them both up to the same controller and see how long it takes for them to desync. But of course, that'd only work if there was like no if there's no randomization, that kind of thing.
Right.
You know, I mean, to answer your question, I think it has to come down to people who are like experts at these games. So, you know, whether they're speedrunners or world record holders or whatever, you know, those are the people that can really tell you this game is perfect. And to me, I mean, I'm not an expert at any of these games. You know, what I want out of MiSTer is to have a very consistent experience. And, you know, I've built my own case that works the way I want to. It's got a built-in keyboard and everything. Got the MT-32 Pi built in. It's got a beer holder. You know, what more? If you can design your own console, what more would you put into it?
Absolutely.
And you know, if I compare this to an emulator like a Raspberry Pi that's just loaded with a trillion games, they can be very similar. And a lot of people say, why wouldn't I just use a Raspberry Pi that's like $50? And most people will be happy with that. And you could do that. You know, it's just, you know, every hobby has its niches and everything. And I think if you want to go one step closer to, you know, having a game collection, then MiSTer is there. If you want to output to CRTs, I would argue MiSTer makes it the easiest and gives you the cleanest signals. And you know, integration with Midi is great. You still get the benefits of software emulation in that there's a Linux operating system running on the MiSTer that is handling like the USB. So you get all the bonus of the scripting features and the ability to plug in, you know, all this stuff. Like I'm using a Sega Saturn USB controller. You plug it in, I can map it, and it works. So you get those benefits over an original system. You know, but you still get the benefits of what we know as emulation.
Yeah. And like if you want to use this as just as a DOS computer, you can program it so that you never see the MiSTer OSD menu or whatever, and effectively it is a DOS block or not a DOS block, but like a 486 PC if you want, you know, you want to be like that.
Absolutely.
Nice. Yep.
I forgot Alien Braid. I'm going to bring that up.
Oh yeah. Because unlike the Raspberry Pi, every time you boot it up, Raspberry boots up, you know, right away before RetroPie does, and then you have to go through their menu. But effectively, this is a 486 computer, as far as, you know, the software nodes.
So this is an example of a game that has the MT-32 music, but simultaneously supports the Sound Blaster digital effects. So we should get some effects in here. Although,
yeah.
Can't remember if this takes a minute to load up, or if I had to disable cache or something like that. I don't remember.
Is this Alien?
Yeah.
Alien Breed? Okay, hold on.
Let's try it one more time. I don't think I had to do anything interesting with this one. I'm pretty sure it just worked.
Yeah.
Let's try one more time here.
Did you set up? No.
I did do that already. It's possible.
Oh.
I think my MT-32 actually could be frozen because I see that it's got that volume. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, sometimes it. Other.
So this is not particularly a good track. That's why I didn't put it in originally.
No. I mean, it works, so you
Yeah.
can put it on the box, you know. But
It's just, I don't think they put any time into this one.
no.
I don't like it. And I tried the game. Game's like an overhead shooter kind of thing. Oh yeah, and then
This
this is all you
happens on
have.
mine as well.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it's an error. I actually think this is supposed to be a chopper noise, and that's it. It just does this for the whole level. Like, this is supposed to be a helicopter, because it's sound like, I mean, the Sound Blaster sound effects are still working. Stolen Star Trek noise. I don't know if you heard that. Yeah, actually, now that I hear the sound is changing, I wonder if the the driver is no good. All right, well, that's enough of that sound. Let's change it over to Sound Blaster and just see if we get anything. If we get anything better. I mean, the intro worked fine, so I don't know why.
Yeah.
Oops. This one config is config. So let's set music to AdLib as well. Who can listen to the Sound Blaster version, which I'm pretty sure it was made for. I think it sounds better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was probably composed for FM. It's not a great song anyway, like just it's like mixing major and minor chords in a strange way. Okay, anyway, I think we'll wrap it up there. So thanks everybody who watched on YouTube. Thanks Raph for joining me again.
Thank you.
And watch for some more videos coming from me on DOS Gaming. I have an unboxing video kind of thing where I go through a little collection of 6 games that I bought from DOS to early Windows. And I have another one coming, which is a bunch of stuff I bought from Japan, including the SC55 that works. So that's a bit of a spoiler that the junk SC55 that I bought works fine because I'm using it here. But pretend you didn't know that when the video comes out. So thanks everybody, and that's all for today. See you next time.